Want to learn an hour of fun facts? Subscribe to Zarpado. We're starting now. The Satare Mawe tribe of the Amazon performs an initiation rite where young men must wear gloves filled with bullet ants. The pain of the sting is considered the worst in the world, and the initiate must endure it for 10 minutes without uttering a sound. In Bhutan, the government measures national success through gross national happiness instead of gross domestic product, GDP. This policy prioritizes the spiritual well-being, culture, and environment of its citizens over economic growth. On the island of Poveglia in Italy, it is said that the soil is composed of 50% ashes of plague victims. This place is closed to the public and is considered one of the most haunted places on the planet due to its dark medical history. The Peel P50 is officially the smallest production car in the world, with room for only one adult and a bag. It lacks a reverse gear, so the driver must get out and pull it manually using a handle located at the rear. Actor Nicolas Cage once bought a $15,000 pet octopus, claiming the animal helped him with his acting. His extravagant spending also included 2 European castles and a 9-foot-tall funerary pyramid in New Orleans. In Iceland, hakarl is a fermented shark dish that is left buried underground to eliminate its natural toxins. Due to its strong ammonia smell, many tourists consider it one of the most difficult culinary experiences to tolerate. The La Tomatina Festival in Buñol, Spain, began accidentally in 1945 during a parade of giants and big-headed figures. A street fight involved a vegetable stall, and over the years it has become the most famous food battle in the world. Estonia is the most digitized country in the world, allowing its citizens to vote, sign documents, and file taxes online. Nearly 99% of public services are available 24 hours a day, except for marriage, divorce, and land sales. The Gates of Hell in Turkmenistan is a natural gas crater that has been burning continuously since 1971. It was set alight by Soviet engineers to prevent the spread of methane gas, mistakenly believing the fire would burn itself out quickly. The Leyland P76 was a car designed with a trunk so large it was advertised as being able to hold a barrel. This Australian car could carry a 44-gallon drum inside, which made it famous but didn't save its sales. Tarare was an 18th century French man famous for his insatiable appetite, which allowed him to eat an entire live cat. Despite eating rations meant for 15 people, he never gained weight, although his body emitted a foul odor and constant hot steam. In Cambodia, fried spiders are a popular snack that originated due to extreme food shortages during the 1970s. The tarantulas are seasoned with garlic and salt. The town of Coober Pedy in Australia is built almost entirely underground to escape the extreme desert heat. Its inhabitants live in cave houses that include churches and museums, and it is also the opal mining capital of the world. The bloop was an ultra-low frequency underwater sound detected by NOAA in 1997 in the Pacific Ocean. Although initially thought to be a monster, later studies determined that it was caused by the calving of a large iceberg. Singer Dolly Parton once lost a Dolly Parton impersonator contest at a drag bar where she participated incognito. Despite her exaggerated appearance, no one recognized her, and the judges decided that other men resembled her more than she did. The Amphicar 7070 was a German amphibious car from the 1960s designed to drive on roads and navigate water. It used its front wheels as a rudder and achieved fame when President Lyndon B. Johnson used it to scare his guests. The fungus Ophiocordyceps is capable of taking mental control of ants, forcing them to die in high places. This zombie fungus then sprouts from the insect's head, releasing spores to infect other members of the colony below. Apple co-founder Steve Jobs drove a Mercedes without license plates, taking advantage of a loophole in California law. He changed cars every 6 months to stay within the legal grace period that allowed new vehicles to be driven without plates. The Hina Matsuri in Japan is a festival where families display ornamental dolls to bring health to their daughters. These dolls represent the imperial court and must be put away immediately after the festival to prevent the daughters from delaying marriage. The Messerschmitt KR-200 was a three-wheel bubble car designed by a company that previously manufactured fighter jets. Its cockpit opened to the side, similar to a military fighter jet, making it an economical transportation solution in the post-war era. On the Island of the Dead in Mexico, thousands of broken and old dolls hang from the trees to appease the soul of a little girl. Don Julian Santana began the collection after finding the child's body, turning the site into a macabre tourist attraction. Map scribbling is the practice of including non-existent towns, called trap towns, to detect plagiarism. A glow in New York became real after someone built a store on the exact spot where the fake map indicated the town. The Stout Scarab is considered the world's first minivan, inspired by the shape of a beetle and designed in 1930. It had a folding table inside and seats that could swivel, but its high price meant only 9 were ever made. The Verazah people in Madagascar practice famadihana, or bone turning, where they exhume their dead to dance. It is a joyful celebration where the shrouds of the ancestors are changed, and the family news is told to them before they are buried. The city of the dead in Russia is an ancient necropolis called Dargovs, with 99 stone tombs in the mountains. Locals avoided the site for fear of not returning alive, as plague victims were isolated there to die. The Reliant Robin is a three-wheeled vehicle famous for its instability and tendency to tip over on curves. In the UK, it could be driven with a motorcycle license, making it very popular with the working class. Christopher Walken worked as a lion tamer in a circus as a teenager before becoming an actor. He described the lioness as a big dog and says that the experience gave him the confidence to tackle any role. There is a rare phobia known as anuptophobia, which is the fear of being single or not finding a partner. This phobia can lead people to enter into unhealthy relationships simply to avoid being alone. In the 1950s, NASA experimented with a gelatin diet as space food. Gelatin was transparent and nutrients could be added, but it was rejected because it was too difficult to eat in zero gravity. The famous explorer Vasco da Gama was the first European to reach India by sailing around the Cape of Good Hope. His voyage opened a vital sea route that bypassed the dangerous overland routes controlled by Muslims. The Antikythera mechanism is a 2,000-year-old bronze analog computer found in a shipwreck. It was used to predict eclipses and the positions of celestial bodies, surpassing technological advancements of any invention for the next 1,000 years. In Switzerland, it is illegal to own a single guinea pig because they are considered social animals that suffer when alone. The law requires keeping at least 2, and there are guinea pig rental services available for when one of the pair dies and another is not desired. The BMW Isetta is distinguished by its single door located at the front of the vehicle, which turns the steering wheel. This design allowed it to be parked facing the curb in very tight spaces, a lifesaver for BMW during the economic crisis. Mike Tyson kept 3 real Bengal tigers at his mansion, spending thousands of dollars a month on their food. He even slept with them until one of the tigers lightly attacked him, making him realize they were uncontrollable predators. The Thaipusam festival in Malaysia involves devotees piercing their bodies with metal hooks and spears. They carry heavy structures called kavadis and claim to feel no pain due to a deep religious trance during the ritual. In the city of York, England, there is a law that allows archers to kill a Scotsman within the city limits, provided they do so with a bow and arrow and after midnight. The law is a historical relic and is no longer enforced. Vanablack is a lab-created material that absorbs 99 to 96% of light, resembling a real black hole. When an object is coated with it, the human eye loses the ability to perceive depth, seeing it as a flat, dark surface. The Ferrari 250 GTO is the most expensive car ever sold at auction, fetching over $70 million. Only 36 units were ever made, and it is considered by collectors to be the holy grail of sports and luxury automobiles. Japan has more than 5,000 vending machines that sell everything from hot coffee to umbrellas and underwear. Their popularity stems from the low rate of vandalism and the need for convenience in a society with long working hours. The writer Hunter S. Thompson requested that his ashes be fired from a giant cannon shaped like a two-thumb fist. His friend Johnny Depp financed the $3 million ceremony, fulfilling the author's last and extravagant wish. Esquimalt is known as Mexican caviar and consists of ant larvae extracted from the roots of the agave plant. They have a buttery texture and a nutty flavor and are a pre-Hispanic dish now served in the finest haute cuisine restaurants. The Rohank manuscript is a mysterious book that appeared in Hungary and that no one has been able to read or translate. Unlike the famous Voynich manuscript, it contains symbols from various religions mixed together, suggesting that it could be a secret code. There is a rare phobia known as chromatophobia, which is the fear of money. This phobia can manifest as a fear of touching banknotes and coins, or an irrational fear of wealth or poverty. The Plymouth Superbird was designed with a rear wing so high that it allowed the trunk to be opened without hitting the piece. It was created for NASCAR racing, and its aerodynamics were so advanced that it was quickly banned for being too fast and dangerous. Canada maintains a strategic reserve of maple syrup to stabilize global prices for this sweet product. In 2012, the Great Maple Syrup Heist occurred, in which thieves stole about 6,600,000 pounds of the product. The Kenamara Matsuri in Japan is a fertility festival featuring giant pink phallic sculptures. It attracts thousands of tourists, and the funds raised go toward research and prevention of HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. The sailing rocks of Death Valley are stones that move on their own, leaving long trails in the desert floor. The mystery was solved by discovering that thin layers of ice and gentle winds push them across the slippery mud at night. The magnetic North Pole does not align with the geographic North Pole. The magnetic North Pole is constantly moving and has been drifting at a speed of about 34 miles per year in recent years. Lake Hillier in Australia is famous for its vibrant, permanent pink color, which doesn't change even when bottled. The exact cause is the presence of the microalga Dunaliella salina, which survives in extremely high salinity conditions. Musician Paul McCartney is the most successful celebrity in music history. He has 32 songs that have reached #1 on the US charts, either with the Beatles or as a solo artist. Robert Wadlow was the tallest man in recorded history, reaching an impressive height of 8 feet 11 inches. His growth never stopped due to pituitary gland hyperplasia, requiring him to use crutches and specially made shoes. In San Marino, there are more registered vehicles than people living in the country due to its status as a tax haven. This tiny nation is the oldest republic in the world and has maintained its independence despite being completely surrounded by Italian territory. Bird's nest soup is an extremely expensive Chinese dish made literally from the hardened saliva of swiftlets. The nests are collected from caves and dissolved in water, creating a gelatinous texture believed to have medicinal and aphrodisiac properties. The L'Oeuf Electrique was an egg-shaped electric vehicle designed in 1942 during the Nazi occupation of France. Made of aluminum and plexiglass, it was extremely lightweight and was an artist's response to the wartime fuel shortage. The Palo de Mayo in Nicaragua is an extremely sensual and rhythmic dance that celebrates fertility and the arrival of rain. It is danced around a tree adorned with colorful ribbons, fusing African traditions with European influence in the Caribbean. Sourdough bread was very popular during the California Gold Rush of 1849. Miners often carried their starter in a pouch close to their bodies to keep the dough warm. The dancing plague incident of 1518 saw hundreds of people in Strasbourg dance non-stop for days. Many died of exhaustion or heart attacks, and to this day it remains unknown whether it was mass hysteria or ergot poisoning. Cotard's syndrome is a mental disorder in which the patient believes they are dead, do not exist, or that their organs are missing. Some sufferers even claim to smell rotten meat on their own bodies, requiring intensive therapy to reconnect with reality. The platypus is one of the few mammals that lays eggs and also possesses a venomous spur on its hind legs. It also has the ability to detect the electric fields of its prey underwater using special sensors located on its duck-like bill. The Ryugyong Hotel in North Korea is a 105-story pyramid-shaped skyscraper that stood empty for decades. Known as the Hotel of Doom, its construction was halted due to lack of funds, and for a long time, it was the tallest empty structure in the world. The Dybbuk box is a wine cabinet that supposedly contains an evil spirit from Jewish mythology. It went viral after a series of eBay auctions where owners reported horrific nightmares and poltergeist phenomena in their homes. The Vatican is the only country in the world with ATMs that display instructions entirely in Latin. This curious fact reflects the preservation of the sacred language in the world's smallest state, where Swiss guards protect the Pope and the official currency is the euro, despite not being a member of the European Union. In India, the Karni Mata temple is home to more than 25,000 black rats that are venerated and fed milk by monks and visitors who travel from afar. The rats are believed to be the reincarnations of the children of the deity Karni Mata, and seeing a white rat in the crowd is considered a rare and supreme blessing of good fortune. Diogenes of Sinope was a Greek philosopher who lived inside a large clay barrel and despised all the material comforts of the civilization of his time. He is said to have walked around with a lamp in broad daylight, looking for an honest man, and even asked Alexander the Great to step aside so as not to block the sunlight he was enjoying. The Shilin stone forest in China consists of limestone formations that resemble giant petrified trees created by erosion over 220 million years. Local legends say the forest is the birthplace of Ashima, a beautiful maiden who was turned to stone after being forbidden to marry the man she loved. The Panther 6 was a six-wheeled convertible manufactured in 1977 that was inspired by Formula One cars of the time and could reach the speeds of 199 miles per hour. It had an onboard telephone and an integrated television, extreme luxuries for the 1970s. But only 2 units were produced due to its exorbitant price. Salvador Dalí used to walk the streets of Paris with an anteater on a leash, claiming that common animals were too boring for a genius of his artistic caliber. He also demanded to be paid with drawings on the back of his checks, knowing that restaurant owners would never cash them in order to keep the artwork. Sanakji is a Korean dish consisting of freshly cut octopus tentacles that are still moving and have active suckers that can stick to the diner's throat. It is dangerous because the suckers can cause choking if not chewed properly before swallowing, resulting in several accidental deaths each year in Seoul. The star-nosed mole has 22 pink tentacles on its snout that move so fast they can touch and examine up to 13 different objects in a single second. This organ is the most sensitive tactile system of any mammal, allowing it to hunt small insects in the total darkness of its damp underground tunnels. The Dyatlov Pass incident involved the mysterious deaths of 9 Russian hikers who fled their tent in the middle of the night without adequate clothing in 1959. Their bodies showed severe internal fractures, but no external wounds, and some had unusual levels of radiation, generating decades of conspiracy theories. Bhutan is the only country in the world that is officially carbon negative, absorbing more carbon dioxide than it emits. This is because its constitution requires that at least 60% of the territory be covered by permanently protected forests. The Day of the Dead in Mexico is a holiday that blends indigenous and Catholic traditions to honor the deceased with colorful altars and sugar skulls. Far from being a somber event, it is a joyful celebration where it is believed that the souls return to enjoy the food and music they loved in life with their families. Actor Christopher Lee holds the record for the most screen appearances in film history, in addition to having been a real spy in World War II. He was fluent in 6 languages and recorded heavy metal albums after turning 90, demonstrating unparalleled vitality and a remarkable career. Balut is a popular dish in the Philippines consisting of a fertilized duck egg with a nearly formed embryo inside, which is boiled and eaten directly. Locals consider it a high source of protein and a potent aphrodisiac, drinking the broth first before consuming the feathered and soft-boned embryo. The DeLorean DMC-12 was made famous by the movie Back to the Future, but its unpainted stainless steel body was a true innovation that required no maintenance. Its gull-wing doors needed very little lateral space to open, although the car was an initial commercial failure before becoming an icon. Rainbow eucalyptus trees have bark that peels off at different times, revealing inner layers of bright green, blue, purple, orange, and brown. This phenomenon makes the trunk appear hand-painted in neon colors. Native to the Philippines and Indonesia, they are a natural visual spectacle. The great inventor Nikola Tesla had an obsession with pigeons and claimed to be in love with a specific white dove. He believed the bird sent him messages, and his fixation on the number 3 compelled him to walk around a building 3 times. Director Alfred Hitchcock had an extreme phobia of eggs, technically known as ovophobia, and never ate them. He claimed that the sight of a cracking egg was the most disgusting thing in the world, preferring to avoid any food containing them. Vesna Vulovic holds the Guinness World Record for surviving the highest fall without a parachute after her plane exploded. She fell from about 3,300 feet and survived because she was caught in a section of the tail that landed on snow at an ideal angle. In Vietnam, snake wine is prepared by submerging a whole cobra or scorpion in a bottle of rice wine. The ethanol denatures the venom, making it safe to drink, and it is traditionally used as a tonic to improve health and vigor. The General Motors Firebird looked more like a fighter jet on wheels than a car, with wings and a glass canopy. It had a gas turbine engine and was a futuristic design experiment that never went into mass production due to its impracticality. In India, the Lathmar Holi festival includes a tradition where women hit men with wooden sticks. The men must protect themselves with shields as they are chased, all within a colorful and festive atmosphere. There is a rare phobia known as pteronophobia, which is the fear of being tickled with a feather. It is often related to a traumatic event or extreme skin sensitivity. The self-owning tree in Georgia, USA, legally owns the land it occupies and 8 feet around it. The original owner granted it the deed out of love for the white oak, and the city has respected this will since the early 19th century. Foreign accent syndrome occurs after brain damage, causing the person to speak with a different accent. Although it may seem like a joke, the patient cannot control it, changing intonation patterns in ways that mimic a language they don't know. The pistol shrimp snaps its claw so fast that it creates a cavitation bubble that reaches the temperature of the sun's surface. The snap produces a sonic shock wave that instantly stuns its prey, making it one of the loudest sounds in the ocean. The Kowloon-walled city was the most densely populated place on Earth before its demolition in 1993. A single block of buildings housed 33,000 people, creating a sunlight-deprived labyrinth ruled by triads and without any government oversight. The Hope Diamond is famous not only for its deep blue color, but also for a supposed curse that haunts its owners. From beheaded kings to ruined families, the jewel has passed through tragic hands before being donated to the Smithsonian Museum by mail. The Principality of Sealand is a micronation located on a former sea shelf in the North Sea, off the coast of the United Kingdom. Although not officially recognized by the UN, it issues its own passports, stamps, and currency, and has survived attempted invasions and legal disputes since its proclamation in 1967. Yanar Dag in Azerbaijan is a hillside that burns perpetually with flames about 10 feet high, fueled by natural methane gas leaks. Ancient followers of Zoroastrianism considered this fire sacred, and the site attracts tourists today who watch the flames never go out, even in rain or snow. Emperor Norton was originally a San Francisco resident who in 1859 proclaimed himself Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. Despite his madness, the city loved him, accepted his own printed currency, and newspapers published his imperial decrees, including one ordering the construction of a bridge between the city and Oakland. The underground city of Derinkuyu in Turkey could house 2,000 people and their supplies, spread across 18 levels carved into soft volcanic rock. It was rediscovered in 1963 when a man knocked down a wall in its basement, revealing a complex system of ventilation shafts, stables, and Christian churches. The Covini C6W is another Italian six-wheeled car that did reach limited production in 2004, arguing that four front wheels improve braking and grip. The technology reduces the risk of hydroplaning and punctures at high speeds, offering a visual design that looks like it came straight out of a retro science fiction film. Director Werner Herzog fulfilled a bet to eat his own shoe after losing a challenge to filmmaker Errol Morris about the completion of one of his early films. He boiled the shoe with garlic and spices for hours in front of a camera, documenting the act to demonstrate that men should always keep their word. Huitlacoche is a fungus that grows on corn and is considered a delicacy in Mexican cuisine, although in other countries it is treated as a destructive agricultural pest. Its flavor is smoky and its appearance is jet black, which has earned it the nickname Mexican truffle, and it is a key ingredient in quesadillas and fine soups. The emerald wasp performs precise brain surgery on cockroaches, injecting venom at an exact point to nullify their escape reflex without killing them. The wasp then guides the zombie cockroach to its nest by pulling on its antennae, where it lays an egg on it so that the larva can eat it alive from the inside. Flight 19 was a group of 5 American bombers that disappeared without a trace over the Bermuda Triangle in 1945 during a training mission. Even the rescue plane that went to look for them disappeared as well, fueling the myth that the area possesses magnetic anomalies or portals to other dimensions. The photic sneeze reflex is a genetic anomaly that causes some people to sneeze uncontrollably when suddenly exposed to bright sunlight. It is estimated to affect 25% of the world's population and is due to a confusion of signals between the optic nerve and the trigeminal nerve within the human brain. France spans the most time zones in the world, with a total of 12 different time zones. This is not due to its size in Europe, but to its numerous overseas territories scattered across the globe's oceans, surpassing even geographical giants like Russia or the United States in time zone diversity. The haka is a traditional Maori war dance from New Zealand that has become world famous thanks to the national rugby team, the All Blacks. The dance uses vigorous movements, stomping feet, and aggressive facial expressions to intimidate the opponent and demonstrate the strength, unity, and pride of the warrior's identity. Charlie Chaplin once participated in a Charlie Chaplin look-alike contest at a San Francisco theater and, surprisingly, came in 3rd place. The judges didn't realize it was the real actor, who had decided to enter for fun to see if his appearance and movements were as iconic as he thought at the time. Kimchi is a Korean fermented food made primarily from cabbage and spices. It's so vital to the culture that South Korea sent a version into outer space. This dish has thousands of varieties and is consumed at almost every meal, being famous for its probiotics that aid digestion and strengthen the immune system. The Tucker 48 was a revolutionary car that included a third central headlight that rotated with the steering wheel to illuminate the road around curves before the car turned. Only 51 units were manufactured due to pressure from large Detroit companies, making it one of the most valuable and sought-after collector cars today. The narwhal is known as the unicorn of the sea because of its long spiraled tusk, which is actually a tooth that can grow up to about 10 feet long. This tooth is filled with nerve endings that allow the animal to detect changes in the temperature and salinity of the water in the Arctic depths. The scarab beetle on Tutankhamun's breastplate is made of yellow silica glass formed by a meteorite impact in the Sahara Desert millions of years ago. The ancient Egyptians considered this desert glass a divine gemstone, unaware that its origin was literally the collision of a celestial body. The Flatwoods Monster was a supposed extraterrestrial creature seen in 1952 in West Virginia after a bright object fell to Earth, releasing a strange red mist. Witnesses described an about 10-foot-tall being with a head shaped like the ace of spades, leaving researchers at the time confused between hysteria and reality. The Emu War was a real conflict in 1932, where the Australian Army used machine guns to try to control a plague of these birds that were destroying farms. Surprisingly, the emus won the war by dispersing quickly, causing soldiers to waste thousands of bullets without significantly reducing the population. Ethiopia uses a unique calendar with 13 months in a year, which puts the country 7 to 8 years behind the rest of the world. This difference is due to their adherence to the Orthodox Church calendar, celebrating the New Year in September and maintaining ancestral traditions that were not altered by the Gregorian system. The Sami people of Northern Europe have more than 100 different words to describe snow, depending on its texture, density, purity, and how easy it is to travel on. This linguistic precision is vital for survival in the Arctic and for reindeer herding, demonstrating how the natural environment profoundly shapes a people's language. The Baghdad Battery is a collection of terracotta, copper, and iron artifacts from the Parthian period that suggest the ancients may have known simple electroplating. Although debated, experiments have shown that lemon juice could have generated a small electric current to coat jewelry with layers of fine gold. The FSO Serena Sport was a 1960 Polish prototype considered one of the most beautiful cars of the communist era, with a fiberglass body and sporty design. Sadly, the government ordered its destruction, deeming it too bourgeois for socialist ideals, thus becoming a legend of automotive design. The Pando trees in Utah are technically a single massive living organism that shares a connected root system for thousands of trees that appear as separate individuals. Estimated to be over 8,000 years old, it is one of the oldest and heaviest living things on the planet, though it is currently threatened by overgrazing. Nicolas Cage once spent a fortune buying a real Tyrannosaurus skull, outbidding Leonardo DiCaprio at auction to acquire the prehistoric artifact. He later had to return the skull to the Mongolian government when it was discovered that it had been stolen and smuggled out of the country by fossil traffickers. The Great Blue in Belize is a giant sinkhole in the middle of the reef that plunges over 394 feet and contains stalactites that prove it was once a dry cave. Explored by Jacques Cousteau, its crystal-clear waters conceal a unique ecosystem where sharks patrol the dark walls of submerged limestone. The U.S. Army once trained pigeons to guide missiles to their targets, using internal displays where the birds pecked at an image of an enemy ship. This project was led by psychologist B.F. Skinner, and although it worked well in tests, it was canceled for being considered too ridiculous at the time. Jupiter is so large that all the other planets in our solar system could fit inside it, with room to spare for hundreds more moons. Its Great Red Spot is a massive storm larger than Earth itself and has been active for at least 400 years, according to astronomical observations. Wi-Fi uses spread spectrum technology, originally patented by actress Hedy Lamarr during World War II to prevent torpedo sabotage. Her invention laid the foundation for all modern wireless communications, demonstrating that scientific talent can come from the most unexpected quarters of fame. Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein when she was just 18, after a challenge with friends during a rainy summer in Switzerland to see who could write the best horror story. Her work not only created the modern science fiction genre, but also explored ethical dilemmas about scientific creation and responsibility that are still debated today. Pablo Picasso's Guernica was painted as a protest against the bombing of the Basque town during the Spanish Civil War, using only black, white, and shades of gray. When a Nazi officer saw the work and asked if he had done it, Picasso replied, "No, you did," turning the painting into a cry against war. Your nose can remember up to 5,000 different scents and is directly connected to the region of the brain that processes memory and emotions at a very deep level. This is why a specific smell can instantly transport you back to a childhood memory with a clarity that no other human sense can ever replicate. An ostrich's eye is larger than its brain, giving it excellent panoramic vision, but also explaining its behavior, which is based almost purely on instinct. They are the largest and fastest birds on land, capable of killing a lion with a single powerful kick if they feel cornered or threatened by a voracious predator. The carpenter bee is a solitary insect that does not live in hives and has the ability to excavate perfect tunnels in solid wood to lay its eggs and pollen. Unlike the common honeybee, these are peaceful and pollinate flowers that other insects cannot, making them essential to the health of many local ecosystems. In Thailand, it is a serious offense to step on a banknote or coin bearing the king's image, as it is considered a direct insult to the monarchy, which is revered throughout the country. Since feet are viewed as the dirtiest part of the body in their culture, using them to touch the sovereign's face can land you in prison for several years. The Santa Fe staircase in New Mexico is a carpentry mystery, built without nails or a central support, held upright solely by its spiral design. Legend has it that an unknown carpenter appeared, built it, and left without payment, leaving behind a structure that modern engineers still admire for its balance. The Wright brothers made the first powered flight in history in 1903, which lasted only 12 seconds and covered a distance shorter than the length of a modern commercial airliner. This flight at Kitty Hawk changed the world forever, even though many newspapers at the time didn't believe the story and refused to publish it, deeming it a hoax. The Panama Canal uses a system of locks that raises ships about 85 feet above sea level, so they can cross the continent via the artificial Gatun Lake. This feat of engineering saves weeks of travel around Cape Horn, moving more than 14,000 ships a year on one of the most vital trade routes. Space elevators are being designed that would use carbon nanotube cables to transport cargo and people from Earth to an orbiting station without rockets. While it sounds like science fiction, theoretical physics says it's possible, which would drastically reduce the cost of space exploration and the colonization of other worlds. There are more ways to shuffle a 52-card deck than there are atoms on our entire planet Earth, meaning that every time you shuffle well, the order is unique in universal history. The probability of someone else having had the same card order as you at any point in existence is virtually zero, due to the sheer magnitude of the numbers. Humans share 50% of their DNA with bananas, proving that all life on Earth comes from a common ancestor that diverged eons ago. Despite our physical differences, the basic processes in our cells are identical to those in plants, connecting us to the great universal tree of life. Monoway, a village in Nebraska, has a population of exactly one person, 84-year-old Elsie Eiler. She is the mayor, librarian, and bartender, taxing herself to keep the streetlights on. Adam Rayner is the only person in recorded history who was legally considered both a dwarf and a giant. At 18, he was 4 feet 4 inches tall, but a tumor caused a growth spurt that led him to reach 7 feet 2 inches at the time of his death. Big-bottomed ants are a delicacy in the Santander region of Colombia, eaten roasted and salted like peanuts. They are harvested only during the rainy season and are believed to have healing properties, in addition to being a high source of protein. The Zundap Janus had seats that faced both forward and rearward, with doors located at the front and rear. Rear passengers faced the traffic behind them, giving the car the name of the Roman god of 2 opposing faces. The finger cutting of the Dani tribe in Indonesia was a practice where women amputated 1 finger for each deceased relative. They believed this physical sacrifice appeased the spirits of the dead, although the practice has recently been banned by the government. Drapa stones are stone discs supposedly found in China that contain inscriptions about spacecraft. Although many believe it to be a hoax, the story of small beings landing in the mountains remains a cornerstone of the UFO phenomenon. Phineas Gage survived an accident in which an iron bar pierced his skull, destroying part of his frontal lobe. His personality changed drastically, becoming a pivotal case study in understanding how different areas of the brain control behavior. Dolphins give each other specific names using unique whistles that function as individual identity tags. They can recognize these whistles even after decades of separation, demonstrating one of the most complex social structures in the world. The village of Hallstatt in China is an exact, brick-for-brick replica of a famous historic Austrian village. It was built by a mining company in Guangdong province as a luxury residential complex, even copying the church in town square. The Codex Gigas is known as the Devil's Bible because of a giant illustration of Satan on one of its pages. Legend says that a monk wrote it in a single night with the devil's help to avoid execution for breaking his vows. On North Sentinel Island, India, lives one of the world's last tribes that remains completely isolated from modern civilization. Due to their aggression toward any outsiders, the Indian government has prohibited approaching within about 6 miles of the island to protect both visitors and the tribe. In Thailand, the Lopburi Monkey Feast Festival is held annually, serving tons of fresh fruits and vegetables to thousands of long-tailed macaques. Locals believe that feeding the monkeys brings good luck to the town and its inhabitants, paying homage to the mythological hero Hanuman and his army of loyal apes. The Antikythera mechanism contained more than 30 bronze gears and is considered by scientists to be the first computer in history. Its design allowed it to predict the positions of known planets and lunar eclipses with pinpoint accuracy decades in advance. The Terrafugia Transition is a vehicle capable of traveling on roads and deploying wings in less than a minute to take off from any local airport or suitable airstrip. It runs on car fuel and fits in a standard garage, marking one of the most serious and successful attempts to create a commercial flying car to date. Bill Murray is known for showing up unannounced at strangers' parties or for snatching a French fry from a stranger in a restaurant and whispering, "No one will believe you." These anecdotes have created a myth around the actor, who doesn't have an agent and only accepts job offers through a secret voicemail number. Natto is a Japanese food made from fermented soybeans that has an extremely sticky texture and a very strong smell, reminiscent of old cheese or socks. It is usually eaten for breakfast mixed with rice and egg, and is famous for its cardiovascular health benefits, despite being an acquired taste for many tourists. In Afghanistan, kangina is an ancient technique for preserving fresh grapes for up to 6 months. Clay and straw containers are buried to maintain a cool environment. It is a sustainable way to enjoy out-of-season fruit. In the arid Tarim Basin in China, a surprisingly well-preserved mummy was found, the Beauty of Lulan. She lived millennia ago and was naturally preserved thanks to the dry, salty climate. Unlike Egyptian mummies, this one was mummified by accident. In Poznan, Poland, the Post-9 Ice Festival transforms the market square into a frozen stage. Artists from around the world carve sculptures from blocks of ice in front of the public. It's an unmissable visual experience that attracts both locals and tourists. Continuing with modern trends, there's an experiment that has bus drivers pedaling bicycles while a bus passes nearby. This allows them to experience firsthand how dangerous it is not to respect the distance from cyclists. In the arts, Tanya Gomelskaya stands out, an artist who fuses painting and sculpture to create three-dimensional works. Her pieces leap off the canvas, explore emotions like anxiety, and play with surreal textures. In motorcycle safety, there's a helmet windshield wiper. This small, electric, and rechargeable device removes water from the visor and improves visibility in adverse weather conditions. Technology has also reached body art with LED tattoos. These luminous designs use microcircuits and sensors to interact with the body, responding to movements or heart rate, and are emerging as both aesthetic and medical tools. Pure adrenaline is experienced in the sphere of death, where motorcyclists perform stunts inside a spherical metal structure. Thanks to centrifugal force, they defy gravity as they cross paths without colliding. Meet Benjamin Shine, an artist who works magic with tulle. His sculptures and portraits are born from the simple folding and ironing of fabric, exploring themes such as energy and spirituality. He has collaborated with Maison Margiela and exhibited in museums around the world. The CH-47 Chinook is a twin-rotor military helicopter with an astonishing payload capacity, up to about 22,000 pounds. Ideal for transporting troops and equipment across difficult terrain. More curiosities. The Janus tortoise, which has two heads, was born with a condition called bicephaly. Although they share a shell, both heads can act independently. Its name comes from the two-faced Roman god. Adriana Macias, a Mexican speaker and writer born without arms, is a true inspiration. She uses her feet to perform everyday tasks and motivates others with her message of overcoming adversity, empowerment, and self-love. And speaking of photography, Claudio Piccoli is an Italian photographer who specializes in capturing dogs in motion. Internationally recognized, he shares images full of energy and emotion. He also teaches his technique through workshops and online courses. At the crossroads of culture and pop art, the Pokémon X Koge exhibition unites the Pokémon universe with traditional Japanese techniques. Ceramics, textiles, and metalwork combined with Pikachu and friends. The result is a fusion of the contemporary and the ancestral that celebrates Japanese creativity. Returning to the animal kingdom, the teacup pig is a miniature version of traditional pigs. Weighing no more than about 66 pounds, they win hearts with their cuteness. They are intelligent and trainable, but require special care to maintain their health and well-being. From West Africa, the Zangbedo dance blends the spiritual with the artistic. These traditional guardians spin in conical straw costumes, completely concealing the person who embodies them. Their dances, accompanied by ceremonial music, inspire respect and mystery. And we conclude with the Abode of the Gods, located in Cusco, Peru. This sculptural space pays tribute to the Inca worldview, with monumental figures carved in stone. Created by the artist Michael de Titan, it unites contemporary art with the mystical landscapes of the Andes. In the automotive world, Luis Rodriguez, a fan from New Jersey, created a life-size Hot Wheels car to celebrate the brand's 50th anniversary. It took him over a year to build the body entirely by hand. Did you know that cloud waterfalls exist? This phenomenon occurs when cold winds push low clouds toward the edge of a mountain, causing them to cascade down like waterfalls of steam. Speaking of useful automatons, the AxiDraw is a robot that writes or draws by mimicking your own handwriting. It only needs precise instructions and is perfect for signing checks or diplomas. Continuing with visual oddities, what looks like a cracked tongue is actually a condition called fissured tongue. It doesn't cause pain or become contagious, but the cracks can vary greatly in shape and depth. The Graf Diamond's hallucination watch is considered the most valuable in the world for its gemstones. It is covered with 110 carats of extremely rare colored diamonds set in solid platinum. The piece, valued at $55 million, is more of a haute couture jewel than a timepiece. Vanta Black is a technological material that absorbs 96% of visible light. When an object is coated with it, it appears to lose its three-dimensional shape, becoming a black hole. This technology, used in telescopes and art, tricks the brain by eliminating all shadows and textures. Eric Weihenmayer achieved the record for climbing Mount Everest while completely blind. He used a tactile device on his tongue that sent visual signals to his brain via electrical impulses. The mind-blowing journey defied all the laws of modern medicine. The Antikythera mechanism is a 2,000-year-old analog computer. Found in a Greek shipwreck, it could predict eclipses and planetary positions with absolute accuracy. This rare object, centuries ahead of its time, possesses bronze gears of astonishing complexity. It is considered the first computer in history, demonstrating a level of technology lost in antiquity. The book Codex Seraphinianus is an encyclopedia of an imaginary world written in a visual code. Its pages depict hybrid creatures and fantastic machines that defy any real biological logic. The work created by Luigi Serafini is sought after by collectors of unusual literature for its cryptic beauty. Angelina Jolie surprised the world by revealing that she includes insects in her diet. She often cooks crickets and tarantulas for her children, considering them a sustainable source of protein. The actress promotes this practice as a solution to hunger. Cristiano Ronaldo uses a personal cryotherapy chamber in his own home. He subjects himself to temperatures as low as negative 256 degrees Fahrenheit to accelerate muscle recovery. This key habit in his sporting longevity requires constant investment in medical technology. James Cameron is an explorer of the abyss who descended to the Mariana Trench. He designed his own submersible to reach the deepest point in the ocean, never before seen by humans. The project combines real science with visual fiction. The six-wheeled Tyrrell P-34 was one of the strangest designs in Formula One. It had four small front wheels to improve aerodynamics and grip on tight corners. The vehicle, seen in the 1970s, even won a Grand Prix, proving that its crazy idea worked. Kiribati is the only territory in the world located in all four hemispheres. Its islands are scattered along the equator and the 180th meridian in the Pacific. This location makes it a unique geographical destination. It is the first nation on the planet to welcome the new year due to its position on the timeline. The M Drive is a space propulsion system that supposedly uses no fuel. It defies Newton's third law by generating thrust using microwaves within a sealed cavity. The technology mentioned in NASA experiments has generated intense debate in modern physics. If its viability is proven, it would allow mind-blowing journeys to Mars in just a few weeks of flight. Alexander Doba crossed the Atlantic Ocean by kayak at the age of 70. He traveled alone for months from the United States to France, facing storms and about 23-foot waves. This incredible journey, hailed as a senior endurance record, was accomplished without the aid of engines. Doba demonstrated that age is no barrier to extreme exploration in the most hostile environments. The Paracas Candelabra is a giant geoglyph, about 591 feet long, etched into the landscape of Peru. Unlike the Nazca lines, it is located on a hillside and points directly out to sea. This unusual object may have served as an ancient beacon for sailors. No one knows who built it or how it has remained intact against the wind for thousands of years. The Devil's Bible, Codex Gigas, is the largest medieval manuscript in existence. It includes a giant illustration of Satan and is said to have been written in a single night by a monk. The work, housed in the National Library of Sweden, weighs about 165 pounds and requires 2 people to move it. The Lark V is a massive amphibious cargo truck used in rescue missions. It can transport about 11,000 pounds from the sea to the sand, thanks to its nearly 10-foot-long tires. This unusual vehicle is capable of navigating very choppy waters. 600 records, including pogo stick jumping in the Amazon and running with a jug on his head. This eccentric man, described as a meditation devotee, seeks to push the limits of the human body. The Piri Reis map is a cartographic relic from 1513 that shows the coast of Antarctica. What's remarkable is that the map details the continent without its ice sheet, just as it was thousands of years ago. The rare object suggests advance in ancient geographical knowledge. Johnny Depp has a collection of limited edition Barbie dolls at home. He often used them to rehearse the voices of his most famous characters in front of his young children. This technique reveals a paternal and playful side behind his star image. The dolls include accessories and celebrity models that the actor carefully preserves. Frida Kahlo used to throw parties for her pet monkey named Fulang Chang. The animal lived in the Blue House and frequently appeared in his most famous and beloved self-portraits. This relationship symbolized his connection to nature and to pain. The monkey was treated as a member of the family, with its own dishes and private play areas. Salvador Dali used to avoid paying in restaurants by drawing on the back of checks. He knew that the owners preferred to keep the original drawing rather than cash the check. This tactic, referred to as a form of financial art, allowed him to eat for free at the best restaurants. It demonstrates how his fame and talent became a literal currency throughout his life. Shaquille O'Neal bought 3 identical examples of the same luxury car. He did this because he didn't want to wait for the first one to be washed when it got dirty from daily use. He collected trios, like the Tesla Cybertrucks in black, gray, and red, or the Cadillac Escalades, so he could have one in each house. Elton John owns a collection of glasses exceeding 25,000 different models. He has a room dedicated exclusively to storing them with stable temperature and humidity control. This accessory, which has become his signature, requires a detailed inventory for its management. The Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime wristwatch is the most complex ever made. It features 20 different complications and 2 independent dials to display multiple astronomical data. This piece, sold for $31 million, required 7 years of development and 2 years of manual assembly. It is the ultimate expression of microengineering and exclusivity in the world of modern mechanical watchmaking. Anticucho de Corazon is a Peruvian delicacy made with beef heart muscle marinated in ajipanca peppers. It is grilled and served on skewers and has been a favorite street food in Lima since colonial times. It was originally the food of slaves who made use of what the nobles didn't eat. Today, it is a symbol of national pride, demonstrating that animals can be delicious if you know the secret of cooking them over a flame. The 1930 Stout Scarab is considered the world's first minivan. Inspired by aviation, it featured an interior table, swivel seats, and a cutting-edge aerodynamic design. This unusual car was rejected for its futuristic appearance at the time. Tuvalu is one of the world's smallest nations and is disappearing into the sea. Interestingly, much of its economy depends on selling its national internet domain, TV. This helps fund its basic infrastructure. It's a fascinating destination where physical survival battles the rise of streaming platforms. Serena Williams has a superstition about not washing her socks during a tournament. If she starts by winning a round, she wears the same pair without washing them until the event is over. This common habit among high-performance athletes is meant to keep their luck intact, according to their beliefs. Bill Murray doesn't use smartphones and only communicates via pager. If a director wants to send him a script, They must leave a voicemail on a secret number at his office. This disconnection makes him almost impossible to reach. It has caused him to lose out on major roles because he didn't answer producers' calls in time. The quantum invisibility cloak uses metamaterials to deflect light waves. Scientists have succeeded in concealing small objects by making light flow around them without colliding with them. This technology is the first real step towards science fiction. It allows an object to become undetectable to the human eye under specific laboratory conditions. And that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Zarpado facts.